Hey, SVC football fans, Shane Combs, SVC Sports Zone, and just wanting to recap some of my takeaways from week one. A lot of questions, maybe some reactions, maybe in some cases some overreactions. Tough week for the SVC in terms of record. Again, I think sometimes that's deceiving. A lot of times in football, it's not just how good you are, but it's also who you play. So scheduling plays a big role in this in the first 3 weeks of the season, and I think we certainly can get some overreactions when you get some teams lose a game late, lose a game in overtime. Another team plays pretty competitive, whatnot. Few things happen here or there. It could just as easily been a winning week for the SVC. But as I look at the SVC, our league's been hit so hard by graduation the last couple of years. I'm not sure how deep our league's going to be. I think we have some teams at the bottom half of the league that are certainly going to have to kind of rebuild a little bit and go through some growing pains. I know Huntington Southeastern, Westfall, different things, different reasons, numbers, experience schedule, things like that. It could be a tough go of them, but I do think inside the league we're going to have some competitive games even into the middle and bottom half of our league. Two teams that I probably need a little bit more time to figure out would be Adina Zane Trace. I think Adina. I think people are just dismissing them a little quick, because of how talented the group was last year and how much they lost to graduation. But this is a team that still has some pieces that have been SVC champions. Adina's always going to have really good line play. They're going to run the football pretty well. So I think they'll be a team that certainly still can make a run at 500, be very competitive. Zane Trace, I know I really like the Nichols kid. I think they're going to be a much improved team from last year, so I'm interested to follow them. And then, a lot of people are throwing out the names Paint Valley, Piketon, Unioto to me, and it makes a lot of sense when you consider the athletes and the talent that those three teams have. With Piketon, them getting the win there in week one, the biggest thing that jumped out to me was the defensive number of only allowing 6. So when you consider all the different offensive talent led by the talented quarterback with Gallion there, but with Burton and Lohr and Potts and Osborne and King and so forth, and I'm sure I'll miss several, but that's a team that can really spread the ball around and score it. The question throughout the last couple of years is, could the defense get to a level where it could play at a championship level? And in week one, I think they made nice strides there, again, only allowing the 6. The two teams I had a chance to see in person due to the Thursday night Paint Valley game would be Paint Valley and Unioto. And I thought both of those teams have a lot to be excited about. I'll start with Unioto on the Friday night. Obviously came all the way down the last play there, and they were unable to punch it in to get the win. But again, this is a team defensively has a lot to be excited about. I think the offense is going to come. No one doubts their talent level, so that the ability defensively to play as well as they did throughout the night, with the physicality of Benton County up front and the running game and so forth, I think that's something you can take a positive from. Offensively, look, I would just pump the brakes a little bit. Again, I know that the non-league schedule gets really tough over the next 2 weeks, so I'm not saying it couldn't continue to be rough growing pains before you see the benefit on down the road in league play and into the next couple years. But this is a team that has a lot of talent. It's young, it's unproven, but they're certainly skilled. The good news for them the other night, I thought they did a lot of it to themselves. They dropped the football. They had ball handling mistakes. They put the ball on the ground. Those are all things you can clean up. You make just a couple plays early in the game, it's probably a different story. You still have one of the elite weapons in the kicking game in the league and so forth. So, the hoops kid at quarterback, the arm talent's there. They have the weapons, the running game. They have 2 dynamic backs, led by the Netter kid is a really special athlete. They're going to have to find some different ways to get Fox the football, but as teams key on them, again, they need other guys to step up, and they certainly have guys with Galloway and Hoops and some other guys that can do that. I really impressed with their athleticism. I know it's a tough loss, especially when you consider what they have coming up on their schedule in weeks 2 and 3, but certainly a team that I think will be a factor in this league. And then on Thursday night, I had a chance to see Paint Valley. A lot of people putting the favorite bullseye on them, and that's certainly fair when you consider what they return. They were hit hard in graduation on the offensive line and losing their elite back in Bird. But again, they do return a lot. The versatility of a Kevin Cooper goes a long way in covering up a lot of things. And the Paint Valley team really hit by injury the other night, particularly at the running back position. Still waiting to hear on Mannion and Chambers to see how that's going to go out. Looks like Grubb's just fine, but Cooper's ability just to slide over, and then having the security blanket of the arm talent of a Dax Estep's not a bad thing to fall back on either. But man, they had a lot of guys get involved, with Metler and McDonald, and Blankenship made a key catch over the middle. I mentioned the quarterbacks, not to mention on the defensive side, Justin Hall with an interception, Caden Henderson getting involved in the middle up front defensively, was involved in a fumble situation. And then don't forget that this team, as they get a little healthier in the weeks 3 and 4, will get Cole Miller back, another nice weapon. So it's a team that's very, very talented. Can they stay healthy? They're going to get really tested in week 2. They have an elite opponent coming up, and then they still have a solid opponent there in week 3 as well. So, health will be a big, big factor as we move forward. But, excited for SVC football. Look forward to following it. And I think the thing I would take away from week 1 is it's okay to react, but let's not overreact. I still think we have some pretty good football teams in the top half of this league, and I think we have some other teams that are pretty well coached and will continue to get better and better as the year goes on.